Hey folks, welcome back to another Pawn Masters video, and tonight we have the Legendary Gauntlet back again. This one's gonna be a bit harder. Right? So to prepare, let's I guess look at the legendary arenas here and there, right? And you know, just go through some of their what they do, right? What you probably want to do against them. So this is from the Runner doc, the GOAT, by the way. Runner, the best person in Pawn Masters, I'd argue personally. So anyways, let's check it out. So the ones we have is Moltres, Latias, and Uxie, right? So I'd say in terms of like which units that really need like extra attention to, they all do, but I'd say Moltres is the one that really needs it a lot, because Moltres, you kind of want to throw in weather against it, right? Because the big thing about Moltres is well, it makes the weather sunny, and while the weather is sunny, it does like a lot of crazy things. First of all, it increases, you know, fire type damage, which is obviously, you know, a big one. But when weather is also set, you have a lot of other, you know, things as well that it tries to do. It'll have stuff like Sunny Disposition over here, which makes it immune to debuffs, Sunburn, which will burn you every time it uses fire type moves in Sun, right? Overexposure, which debuffs your random stats, right? Sure hits, it won't miss its hits in Sun, all that stuff, right? So extra 70% damage on their moves in Sun, on top of, you know, fire buffing or Sun buffing fire type damage. It heals in Sun. Like, there's a lot. You do not want Sun to be up. So every time it gets Sun up, you want to replace it with another weather, whether it's sandstorm, hail, rain, whatever. Just make sure Sun is not up. And if Sun is not up, Moltres is honestly not very hard, right? As long as you make sure Sun is taken away, Moltres is not that difficult. So first HP bar is weak to rock. The second HP bar is weak to water. Third HP bar goes back to rock again. Like I mentioned before, like the big issue over here is just bring some weather thing, right? You bring weather, this guy gets destroyed, right? Just make sure, again, every time it sets up weather, you replace it, right? It's usually when it comes in, usually, you know, at 50% HP, right, and such. So yeah, just make sure you replace the weather, right? And there's a lot of obviously really nice units that do that. May's a big one, right? Ingolith Sandstorm. This new Raihan, Annie Raihan could do that too, right? Among other units. Acerola, don't forget about her, right? Some of the other Eggmons like Tech Blastoise, Tech Kabutops, so you could throw in some weather as well, right? If you need more, again, need more clears. So yeah, there's a lot of options to remove weather. Again, the damage healer, as long as you remove weather, it should generally be fine, right? Don't have to worry too much about it. But Winona, right, that's another one. Just make sure to get rid of the weather, and it really isn't that hard, right? Really isn't that hard otherwise. So yeah, the overall battle is not super difficult. It's just that it requires specific units. It requires those weather setters, right? So you might not be getting too many clears out of Moltres, just depending on how many weather setters you have, right? Well, non-Sun weather setters. But, you know, once you do have those, you don't have to have, like, incredibly powerful units. Uxie over here is pretty annoying, I'd say. Because you also do need require units, although there's more require units that you could use with Uxie than Moltres, right? But there's still a lot, right? First of all, it is all three bars are weak to go, so there's that, I guess. So that's kind of whatever. But the first bar will reduce damage taken unless it's afflicted by a status condition. Second bar is reduce all damage taken unless it's afflicted by an interference condition. And the third bar is both, although, you know, the reduction isn't like that bad, right? So make sure you have to have someone that can status and interfere, right? Interfere is just flat, trap, flinch, confuse. Obviously, trap's the best one because it's the most consistent one, right? Confuse is not that bad either. Flinch is very good in of itself, just to flinch the opponent so they don't attack. But again, flinch does go away, right? So as soon as it goes away, you will be doing, well, reduced damage to them, which is not very good. Anyways, moving on, and some options you could pick, right? Tangle is a very good one. BP Erica, right, has both trap and poison, right? So you can use poison on the first bar, trap on the second bar, and then either on or both on the third bar, right? So Viper's a great one as well, right? Lucy's Viper does the same thing, except not as good, basically. Houndoom, if you guys have Houndoom, Karen Houndoom, you could use that as well, because you could grid it so that you get flinch on bite and also poison on a bite as well. Another one would be something like a Salazzle, right? Plumeria. The Smog has a chance of poison. You could also flinch and grid, right? There's a lot of units that could do with this. Any of the Fang units, right? Stuff like Volkner is very good. He has flinch and paralysis on Thunderfang, right? So there are a lot of units that could definitely do that. Moving on to Latias. Latias is a unit you just want to debuff, right? You want to debuff it. That's what it's weak to. It has a lot of moves or methods of buffing itself. So the more buffs it has, the less damage you do. The more debuffs it has, the more damage you do. So you want to debuff it. And if it has net 10 positive buffs, it doesn't take damage. It straight up just does not take damage. So you have to have debuffers over here, right? Same for all three of those the HP bars, right? The first bar is weak to dragons. Second, third are weak to fairy. So the second bar, you do have stuff like Calm Mind, Double Team, which is very annoying. Obviously, you know, increases its stats. Also, if it does dodge, if it does dodge your moves, it gets more evasion, right? If you hit it, it loses evasion. So yeah, units with Piercing Gauge was also really nice here as well, right? Champion Iris, for example, is going to be a very good unit against this Latias. So yeah, that's definitely going to be really nice. What else? It doesn't have crazy moves. You got to make sure stored power doesn't destroy you too bad, right? Because it is based on how many buffs it has. So as long as it doesn't have that many moves, you know, stored power or not that many buffs, stored power shouldn't hit that bad. It is also one of those rare legendary arenas that have 3 units instead of just 1. There are 2 on the side. Both the sides hit pretty hard, right? Alakazam has stuff like like Hyper Beam over here. Flygon has stuff like, you know, Rock Slide, which is annoying. So make sure to take out the sides as well. I personally recommend taking out the sides first. Again, it depends on what your team is. Some teams is better suited to take, you know, to finish the mid first. Some teams are better suited to take out the sides first. So again, really depends on your team, I'd say, right? But yeah, you have to bring debuffers over here, right? So anyways, yeah, that's these 3, right? Again, in my personal opinion, getting to 12, or was it 11 or 12 win streaks is generally should be enough. My personal strategy this time would be more or less, like, rather than going for very high win streaks, I think I should go for like a relatively solid win streak and then reset it again just to not mine, but to farm cookies, because I think farming cookies is more valuable and time efficient than going for win streaks personally, right? So that's just my personal opinion. But anyways, yeah, that's been this one, I guess. Hope you all enjoyed it. We'll probably stream the Gauntlet a bit once it drops the other day, so stay tuned for that. Should be fun. So yeah, have fun, folks, and I'll see you guys in the next one then.